welcome your host, James Watson.
Hello and welcome to Testify, the brand new debate show from Student Studios. This week, we'll be exploring our panellists' opinions on music, from rap to rock and everything else in between. So sit back and relax whilst our panellists batter it out. Let's meet our Fab Four. We've got Tom Parkin. Tom's a producer for our sister show Live East and a good friend. How you doing, Tom?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. We've got Lauren Middleton. She's our host on Radio SE10. How are you? We've got Bill Pettis, composer and musician. And we've got the legendary singer that is... Oh, I'm really sorry. No, it's just another bloke who's called Tom Jones. Sorry, Tom. All right. So, how are we all? We ready to testify?
Good, yeah. Very well.
So ready.
Born ready.
Are you? I know you're having a chat beforehand. Are you in harmony or?
We've been debating against each other for a while now.
Yeah, we are.
Different competitions,
Well, I
nationally.
disagree with that actually, we haven't really, have we?
No.
No, we haven't really. I was lying. Single.
Well, let's take a look at the rules, shall we? Simple debate show. You build your case and you testify. You have to make it clear to me why your argument is the best and why the others are rubbish. I'll be giving extra marks for any good quips or funny takedowns. And at the end of the show, the winner amongst you will go through to our final and win this trophy. So, let's rock on! Our first question. 2015 was a massive year for music. With Apple launching their own streaming service, Adele popped up and said hello from the other side. One Direction announced they wanted to go in a different one, namely not with each other. And Justin Bieber actually did something good, helping the NHS charity choir get the Christmas #1 after posting on Twitter that people should get their record over his. But my question for you is this. Who won 2015 for music? Let's start with you, Tom Jones.
Okay, so I testify that Drake won 2015 for music due to already making a name for himself in the industry with So Had Nothing Was the Same was his previous album, and that was just a huge hit, and everyone was expecting a different album, and he secretly, early in 2015, just dropped a completely different album that just blew everyone's mind. And that carried on throughout the year, being very popular until he released his latest single, Hotline Bling, which I think we all know was very massive. And yeah, so because of this, I feel it was Drake.
Thank you. Lauren?
I testify that it was Justin Bieber, purely because of his development as an artist. He was sort of a baby a couple of years ago, but now he has blossomed into the man he is today. And he's actually put out quite a few tunes that people actually enjoy and people actually like. So.
What do you think, Bill?
Well, I will start off. I will testify that the Winery Dogs took 2015 for me. They had a brilliant sophomore album, indie, all three musicians, very, very talented people, been in loads of other bands. And yeah, so the Winery Dogs, something a little bit more different from your pop espionage. But I'm not finished.
I do apologise, Bill.
But I will say Justin Bieber was not the best artist of 2015 or didn't take 2015. And I'll tell you why. Because I did some research, you know. Justin Bieber's album Purpose had like 50 songwriters on it or something like that, including Ed Sheeran. Isn't that true? You can bring that up later, mate. So
Well,
therefore,
you've already done that for him.
so therefore, he's not an artist because he didn't really create his music. He performed it. Therefore, he's a performer, not an artist.
All right. Lastly, I'd like to testify. First of all, Ed Sheeran, I think, won it. I mean, he sold out Wembley. Was it 3 times?
It was three times.
3 times.
Times.
Oh, there we go.
3. One man.
Wait, how many?
3 times.
Three.
Tom Jones.
Not 4.
No, not 4. 3.
Three.
Just below 4.
Glad that we've
Above 2?
And I'd like to testify that theirs as a collective's answer is poor. Never heard of him. Justin Bieber, just a pawn of society.
You may say that. I'm not sticking up for him because he's my favourite. I'm sticking up for him because he has actually shown the most change
Yes,
and
but
the most
it's
development.
all PA. It's all, oh yeah, I was a bad boy. I threw eggs at someone's house, and now he's gone back and he's reclaimed his. I think it's all just an act, and I think Drake. That's just as bad as his answer. You know.
Wow.
he did Hotline Bling's a good song, but Ed Sheeran, one man, just a normal guy. It's all about image nowadays in the charts, and he's kind of him and Adele have taken that out. Image isn't important, and it's the talent that matters. No auto-tune, pristine.
But what did Ed
man with
Sheeran
his
do
guitar.
for 2015? Like, he didn't release
Exactly.
anything.
Oh,
Yeah, but-
I'll tell you, Tom Jones. He wrote the song "Love Yourself," which is published by Justin Bieber.
Who is more known for the song?
Well,
Yeah, but Justin Bieber
If you
did
hear
write
that
it.
song, you think of Justin Bieber, not so much Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran's
do you?
also hosted a number of award shows.
Mhm.
Can you name us one, please?
Yeah.
Go on, son, go on.
You're on your own here. Even my elves can't think of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Can't remember.
Okay.
But all I know
Well
is
thought
that
out, Tom.
One
Well
point.
thought out.
Drake is probably the worst answer.
Okay,
Well,
so
well,
that's
one
not an
thing I-
argument. Just saying that Drake is the worst answer is not an argument.
I haven't
No,
heard
no.
anyone really talk about the winery dogs and why they're not.
Who are they?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because you guys haven't heard of them. Because I went with a more indie approach so that you couldn't produce an argument.
Well, then
Put
they're
pen
clearly
again.
not
No,
the best
they're
of
not.
2015.
Yeah, they can't. They
Yeah,
don't
but
win
in
the
my
title.
opinion, they're my best of 2015.
But they
That's
have
what's
to
the
be
question, sir.
prominent.
you got an well, okay, well, why are they not the best of 2015? then?
They are not the best because
Yeah.
we would have heard of them if they were the best.
I think they have to be quite
That's-
prominent to be considered the best of
I think
2015.
to put something into context,
That's a dreadful argument.
the winery dogs were formed in 2012 and they peaked at 30 in the US album charts this year.
So there you go. They have been in the charts this year. So you guys haven't heard of them. That's your problem, not mine. I win the argument. Boom. Let's move on.
Right. Not
Debate
quite.
it, shall we? Let's
I want to hear some more as to why Drake is the best.
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. So it's more about because obviously music is an industry and you've got to create the music, but when do you give it to the fans? What are you giving them? So you're giving them a taste of if you liked what I had before, and I'm gonna give you my next album, Views from the Six. And everyone's like, what is this? What does it mean? And the Six is what he calls Toronto. And then he didn't release that. Just out of nowhere, puts an Instagram up. If you're reading this too late, everyone goes mad. What is this? And it's his latest album. He just sneaked in there, and that's
Okay.
early 2015. He set himself up for 2015 to be great.
All right.
And let's be honest, Hotline Bling was probably the most well-known single of 2015 near the end of the year.
Well, I think this is the tough point. I have to make the decision. I think it's a real shock that not one of you chose Adele as your artist of the year. She had the best-selling album of the year. She had the best-selling single. But at the end of the day, I can't give myself the point. So I'm going to talk you through my logic. Bill, you had some great rebuttals, but at the end of the day, they knocked you out. No one's heard of him.
KO.
He's gone.
Hard. Wow.
Drake, Tom, I think your argument for Drake was
Compelling.
okay, but you didn't mention the fact that he was Grammy nominated. He
He
had
was.
the Rolling Stone third best album of 2015. And Ed Sheeran, you didn't mention that he set up his own record company and had his first signing at a #1 album.
Did I not mention that one?
No, so
No, you did not.
I never thought I would say this, but I think the artist of the year was Justin Bieber on that debate.
Whatever.
I
Didn't want to win anyway.
What do you mean?
yes, it was.
What do you mean?
Oh, wow. It's too late to say sorry for your bad debate. Right, let's move on. If you disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from
People
you.
will disagree.
I'm sure they shall. Now,
Just
we're
me.
already talking about Hotline Bling. We all know music videos are one of the biggest earners in the industry. I mean, Gangnam Style got 1.5 billion views. But even with all the memes that have come out with Hotline Bling, I mean, heck, even Donald Trump did one. That's how mainstream it is. This got us thinking, what's the best music video of all time? And we're going to start with you, Tom Parkin.
This is more personal than the last question, I think, because it's down to preference. But in my personal opinion, it's Danny California by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Solid argument, son.
Shows an array of different, basically what the video is, it shows an array of different music videos or music history throughout. And it has, I think it has Kurt Cobain, Prince and people like that. It's not a parody, but they do make it fun and, you know, lighthearted at the same time. And it just reminds me of being young. And I remember I had it on my iPod Nano, you know, and they first had the screens and you could look at it. I thought that was great. But no, I do love that. It's a
Okay.
good video.
Bill?
I think the best music video of all time is Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. I personally think not only is it a video to one of the best, most famous pop songs of all time ever written, but it's also widely considered one of the first ever music videos. And it was because Queen couldn't keep going back to MTV to perform live every week. They were touring. So they made a video that would be played instead because they didn't want to mime and stuff.
Lauren?
Okay, well, I testify that Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters is the best video.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, for the pure entertainment value as well, I mean, he sort of played around with the idea that, you know, the film Airplane?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a comedy sort of thing. So I think they played around with that, with him taking the role of, like, so many different characters in the video. So you'd see him, like, multiple times in the same shot. So I just thought it was creative and thought it was a good giggle.
Okay. And Tom?
So I testify that the best music video is by a group called Is Tropical, and the song is The Greeks.
The Greeks. Okay.
I testify this because it doesn't seem to be much with the song. They chose it for pure humorous value. It's good fun to watch, and it's just a bunch of kids tastefully acting out their playtime as they would in the summer holidays, and it's a good laugh. If you see it, it's a good laugh.
Okay. Go. Fight.
All right, I'd like to go first, actually. First, got to think about what makes a good music video. So you've got to have entertainment. You've got to show the band looking cool.
Tick, tick,
You've got to show a bit of history.
tick.
What was that? What was that?
I'm ticking off the points you're making because
Okay,
it
yeah.
applies to my video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might learn something.
Yep.
You've got to have everything in there. You've got to have the song, obviously, maybe have the lyrics, but
Got to have the song in there.
yeah, you've got to have the
Oh,
song.
right.
It would just
That
be a
is what
video.
True.
But I think my video that I've chosen ticks all the boxes. It's fun, shows a bit of history, it shows relatability. The fans, like the support Red Hot Chili Peppers, will like rock, and it shows a history of rock and their favourite artists dressing up as different eras of rock. And it's fun, shows you a bit of education. And I think compared to other music videos, I've never heard of yours. Sounds like
Branch out there,
child's
Tom.
play.
Yeah.
Sounds like. Foo Fighters is a good one, but it's been done. It's been a film. It's based on an airplane, right?
It's not based on it, it was inspired by it,
Same
which
thing.
is slightly
Same
different.
thing, to be honest.
This guy's answer was probably one of the better ones.
You've got to give it a bit of respect. haven't
Bohemian Rhapsody. I would have chosen that if he hadn't got there first, but I don't think it pits my one because my one just shows an array of different sets, whereas Bohemian Rhapsody is quite plain and simple, isn't it?
you? Yes.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Tom,
Fair
I
Doesn't have the
Fair
production value.
Production value.
I'm not backing my. I'm just to back up Lawrence. Actually, you're disappointed that she's got inspiration from something else. Where you've just stated that this song from Red Hot Chili Peppers, the inspiration is
You're
all
about to
these
get
other
to the part,
artists
mate.
going through time.
Yeah.
So is inspiration
Mm.
really a problem if that's all that your
It's all
music
apart,
video
mate.
is?
Listen. Listen.
You've been shocked
I
out
don't think you're listening.
Thank you
Here
very
we
much.
go.
Don't go backing up my answer just because you've lost already.
He's
I've lost
perfectly
already.
fine backing up my argument.
Hers is based on some awful film that ripped off Naked
That was
Gun. Anyway.
brilliant.
No, it's not
It
a rip off of Naked Gun.
It is a rip off Naked. My one is based, but it's more inspired on reality rather than, like a little comedy, like.
My
What-
video
what's-
reaches
what's-
all
ooh.
audiences, young and old, so it's suitable for all viewers. So it makes it more watchable, more popular,
Right.
better.
I have a few subtle points I'd like to make.
Go on.
First off, never heard of that.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is. Don't
Tom
really
Jones
care.
is rubbish.
You're out,
It's just
son.
like the band you had from before, but so open
Yeah,
your
but
mind.
there we go. Same argument, right? Never heard of it. Therefore, you automatically lose, son.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Wow.
Out.
Do like the Foo Fighters. I feel like if you want to listen to the same song 14 times, buy a Foo Fighters album.
Okay.
Just being honest.
Okay.
Rude.
But
But
fair play, decent choice. Danny California is actually a parody. Actually,
Oh.
it is actually a parody video.
Yeah, it is a parody.
No, you didn't know that, though, did you, son? All right.
Yeah, I did.
I think that's a good point to end it. And, just to point out some of the songs you might have overlooked, there was Here It Goes the famous one with the treadmill. Take On Me was another one that you could have chosen.
That's good.
And
Well, there's loads we could have chosen.
I mean, none of you chose arguably the most iconic one of all, Thriller.
I did.
But, like I say, I have to bring it back to your arguments. And, you know, I think your hypocriticalness lost you it. But equally, I don't think you two argued strongly enough for yours.
Yeah.
And I think what settled it is the fact that Tom admitted himself that he would have gone. So, Bohemian Rhapsody, best music video of all time.
Sore winner here. Woo.
Right, let's move on to question
You can have my tape.
3.
Keep going with it.
Or actually, you know what? Let's have a bonus round. I'm going to throw an extra question out for you.
Yeah, Chris, yeah, I was-
Simple
nervous
question.
now.
I want to know what the best-selling song of 2000 was. It A, this?
But she got me on the counter. Wasn't me. Saw me banging on the sofa.
Shaggy? It wasn't me. Was it B, this? It is indeed. Or is it C, this? So, on each, we'll go along. It doesn't matter if someone else has gone for that. I want you to tell me what you think it is. Let's start with you, Tom Parkin.
Did you say best selling song of 2000 or 2000s? The whole 2000s?
2000, the singular
Okay.
year.
Right, then
No, it isn't just the
I'm
one.
gonna go for
What?
I'm gonna go for Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill?
I'm going to second that. I think Bob the Builder. I don't know, but I get the feeling Neil Morrissey is probably living off them royalties now. So Bob the Builder.
Fair enough.
S Club, definitely.
S Club.
100%.
Yeah, well, I'll say Shaggy wasn't me then. 'Cause
Okay.
to be honest, it was him.
Right. I can exclusively reveal, I say exclusive, you can find this on Wikipedia.
It is Bob the
But the
Builder.
best-selling song of 2000 with 1.1 million sold is... That's right, Can We Fix It by Bob the Builder was the best-selling song of 2000. Although, Tom, don't be too disheartened, as although Shaggy It Wasn't Me was released in 2000, it ended up being the best-selling song of 2001.
Okay.
Alas,
that.
S Club 7 with Reach never actually reached number 1. Only went as far as number 2 because they were held by Sonic with the song Feels So Good, which, quite frankly, I've never heard in my life and I'm sure I never will.
Bet she doesn't feel so good about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Funny, funny, funny.
right. On that awful pun, let's barrel through on to round 3. I want you to tell me, because we're going to keep with the Naughties theme, what was the best song in the entirety of the Naughties? Okay, this time we're going to start with you, Bill.
I testify that the best song of the noughties, 00S, is Hey Ya by Outkast. And my argument is based solely on one thing, and that is that every single person in this room and at home has that in their head now. Boom.
It's a very good point, Tom.
I testify that right. It was a period dominated by X Factor winners. There was a load of. I personally hate X Factor. I think Leona Lewis's song was rubbish. I think Alexander Burt rubbish. So I'm going to say Rage Against the Machine with Killing a Neighbour, and it came out in the 90s originally, very early in the 90s, 91. But it got number 1 over X Factor as a protest single. And part for that, I think protesting against Simon Cowell gets my vote every time. Protesting against X Factor. So Rage Against the Machine, Killing a Neighbour.
Okay. Lauren?
I would say Time to Pretend by MGMT.
Okay.
I think it was quite a versatile track. I mean, a lot of different people with different musical backgrounds enjoyed it. It was used in TV, films. It was number 9 on Billboard 100. So, yes.
Very good. And Tom Jones?
So I testify that it was Crazy by Niles Barkley, and I'm basing this on statistics alone because with its release in 2006, it was the fastest single to number 1 with online downloads alone, and it stayed number 1 for 9 weeks before it was trumped by Rihanna's Umbrella. but that was the first song to do it within 10 years. So let's be honest, Crazy was the best. You can't really make an argument for a song being in someone's head, because I think now that I've said Crazy, everyone's thinking of that song. So I thought that was a bit silly.
No. Hey Ya is definitely in everyone's head.
Well, if you say it, then yeah, but we're talking about all these songs that everyone's thinking about them. I just think at the time, if people are going to be downloading this song and making it to number 1 for 9 weeks, that clearly means it's got to be one of the greatest songs of 2000s.
I'd like to testify, based on the fact, how many protest songs do you get? I mean, we're so brainwashed into, the latest pop song, I'll get that. How many times do we actually get something we can get behind? It's something we can push, and it's for the people, it's a protest, it's not about voting and getting the same stuff. Because I remember what happened was, the X Factor went through a stage where they were literally pumping out the same Christmas number 1 every year. It'd be an emotional ballad, and it's just not. It's just it gets boring.
Just like the speech now, really, isn't it?
And I remember when it was number 1, and it was bloody good, and it was a great time for music. Because when was the last time someone was in the charts that actually played it with band? They had a drummer, and it's just great.
But Tom, you can't say what makes the best number 1 of the noughties is a song that was released before the noughties and then made number 1 because of the protest.
Makes it better.
But protesting
like,
doesn't make a song great.
It
It doesn't.
Guys,
Writing a good song
from-
makes a song
I want to
great.
hear what Lauren's got to say, 'cause she's been
Thank
quiet
you
here.
very much. I think both of you have perfectly valid arguments. You like your tune because it's played by an actual band and it's got nothing to do with, X Factor, sort of pushed it out of the way. Your argument, perfectly valid also, based on,
Facts.
yeah, facts, which is fine. But I think something that makes a song the best of the noughties has to be one that was thoroughly enjoyed and used and
I can't
heard
even know what
everywhere.
song you're talking about.
It's got that weird sound at the beginning.
Well, I don't know because I like, as far as I know, she could be making this song up. I've never
she's
heard
not.
it before.
Fair enough.
I've never heard
I'm
it
not,
before.
but fair enough. That's fine. But it was used in TV shows. It was used in campaigns. It's sort of a really uplifting tune. A lot of people
But why does that
used
make
it in
the
like
best?
skate videos because it was very, very widely used and
On
put out to
different
a lot
platforms?
of people. Yes, it was used on so many different platforms. It reached a massive audience.
But
you
was
have
it
any
number 1 for
statistics
9
on
weeks
that?
in a row
was
and did
not.
it
Do
you have
become
any
number 1 on online downloads?
But I believe
alone?
that was because of the hype of it. I don't believe that was because of the quality of the music or the
What do you
quality
mean
of
the
the
hype?
song. Because the only reason I heard about that song and decided to download it was because everybody else was doing it, and I thought I want to do that as well. It wasn't because of the
Well,
music.
that's just your
I
opinion of
didn't
being a sheep,
particularly
but
like it. Well,
they have fans,
but that's what people
and they downloaded
are.
it.
People are sheep.
I haven't heard much against Hey Ya.
It's
That's because
repetitive and boring.
There is
It's a
nothing
good song
against
until
Hey
you
Ya.
hear it
Oh, it's a
100
good song.
times.
It's a good song. From the horse's mouth, it's a good song.
No, it is a good
is,
song.
it
But
is,
the,
but
it,
I
does,
wouldn't
it was
say
definitely
it's a
not.
good song.
Every
Right.
song
That's not
chosen
enough.
is a good song,
Yeah.
but it's by far not the best.
For it to
Apart
be a
from
good
Mel's
song is
Barkley
not
Crazy.
enough to make it the best of
Yeah,
the
Hey Ya,
noughties.
no. It's,
What's bigger than a political stance?
Okay, well let me tell you. Rage Against the Machine. I love Rage Against the Machine. I'm a big fan. The song came out in 1991, as we've already pointed out, or whenever it came out. 1960s might as well have been. But Rage Against the Machine are multi-millionaires now, so their political stance means very little. Let's be
right.
honest.
and also,
I
Let's
do
be
you
honest.
know? Wait, can I make a point? You
Go
do
on,
know
very
that Rage
quickly.
Against the Machine were on the same label of Simon Cowell's, so he raked in all the money
so true.
from
I
all
think
that protest.
right there
It
is
didn't.
the
It
perfect
literally
point to
did
finish
nothing.
it.
So
I hate to say it, Tom, but you have been knocked out of the park. I mean, there were a few really good choices there. The best-selling
parked in,
song,
It's okay.
the best-selling song, the noughties in general, was actually Will Young with Evergreen, another Simon Cowell's
That's what I was
song.
going to choose after Killing in the Name of Rage Against the Machine.
But I've got to go for this. This is actually one of the toughest ones I've had to decide. Like, Tom, you're out of this. Lauren, I hate to say it, but I just don't think you gave me enough as to why it was better than these two. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the facts that you gave me a lot, but Tom gave me facts to back it up, and for that, I'm going to give it to Tom.
Well, at least
best
you've got
choice.
Hey
Good
Ya.
choice. Thank you.
I think you're crazy.
Oh. Oh dear. Right, let's move on to our penultimate argument, or our final argument. Depends if there's a tie at the end of this. So I want to know who was the king of rap, or who was or is. You want to start, but I'm not going to let you because it's Lauren's turn to start.
Thank you very much.
Whatever.
I testify that it is Eminem. Now, that I know is a very unpopular opinion.
It's a chocolate, isn't it?
I'm fully aware that not a lot of people would consider Eminem to be
Generic,
the
bland,
best.
boring. I mean, you could keep saying things. Sorry.
Fair enough, but consider his fan base. A lot of different people enjoy his music, and he has millions and millions of people like in his following. He's done like songs from right in the beginning. It was like, when he was doing like Slim Shady, it's entirely different to the song We Made You. So he's got quite a decent variability in his music, and yes, I just think he's probably the most well known. If you think of rap, I imagine a lot of people would say Eminem.
It's a good one. What do you think, Tom Jones?
So I testify that Kendrick Lamar is the greatest rap star because of the impact that he's, like the whole culture behind rap and the impact that he's had after his debut album Good Kid, Mad City, and he just literally became a massive hit from that, getting all the money that he did, and then he came on to do To Pimp a Butterfly, which is all about, it's more poetry because it was all about people being racist and how it was when you grew up, which, to be honest, with all rap stars now, it's all about, like with Dre, Snoop Dogg, it's about the life they have when they grow up and what they go through. And Kendrick Lamar hit the nail on the head with his album To Pimp a Butterfly, with his first single from that album, that was named the greatest rap song of 2015, actually, and best rap performance at the Grammys. So yes, and Dre and Snoop Dogg and The Game actually went on stage and passed the metaphorical torch of greatest rap star to Kendrick Lamar, in which he ended up crying because he was so privileged by this.
Street, is it?
No, it's not street, but these are his idols that he's grown up listening to, they acknowledged that he had surpassed them as the greatest rap star.
Let me just testify
Go
there.
on then, Tom.
Let me testify and teach you a lesson about rap music. I'm not going to start rapping, don't worry. It all started when, if you've seen Straight Outta Compton, it's a great film, good history. You need to watch it if you think Kendrick Lamar's the best ever.
I've seen it.
Dr. Dre started, he produced it, and guess who he signed? Eminem. So if it wasn't for Dr. Dre, there'd be no Eminem. So you can go home. Kendrick Lamar, he's come around in the last year. He could be no one by this time next year.
What, like Dre is now?
I do agree.
Dre made like billions off Dre beats, which we all use to listen to music. Although he may be gaining money through producing and selling other headphones and stuff, he was the catalyst of especially gangster rap, which Kendrick Lamar's probably idolizes. He's been there. He signed Snoop Dogg, all these major iconic rappers who make up the roots of rap music. Although Kendrick Lamar and Eminem are good rappers, Kendrick Lamar's new, and Eminem was signed by Dre from nowhere. Dre grabbed him from the back of the sofa and made him a rap star, as well as 50 Cent.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Bill's got to say.
You know what? You guys are all arguing for these, these amazing, rappers. Let's look, as you say. Let's look where it all started. Yeah. One of the first ever rap hits of all time was Rapper's Delight. Do you know who it was by? It was by a gang called the Sugar Hill Gang. That's what they were called. 3 rappers. They had a band. They played live. And Rapper's Delight, the full version is 14, nearly 15 minutes long.
God.
There's no swearing. There's no belittling of women, which is like half of what you lot are talking about, right? There's no, beats music, smoke, 420, whatever. There's none of that, right? It's pure artistry. That's why I think Sugar Hill Gang are the best rap group of all time.
Can I make a quick point?
Go.
Rapper, not rappers.
Ooh. That's a very good point.
Listen. You've got two ends of the spectrum here. You've got your band thing. That's great. But we've got too old
Don't touch me.
and too young,
Too
too
young.
new.
No.
It's
And
way
then
No,
too
it's
new
not.
to
I
be
think the
considered
only
of all
argument
time.
here
Oi,
is
hear me
between
now, hear me now.
Dr. Dre and Eminem.
No.
And Eminem was signed by Dr. Dre,
But-
and Dr. Dre produced all his music. So
But
it's absolutely
but
ridiculous.
he is in the background. Eminem has always been in the foreground
But who's
of rap
raking in the
culture.
cash? Who's raking in the cash?
It doesn't
I wouldn't do
matter.
that
In
sign while
every
you're
single
raking in
one.
cash. Let's be honest.
on,
Well, I
lady.
just want to make a point. If like Dre, like you have made a very good point about Dre.
Very
and-
good.
Very good, guys. And it is like true. He has done all this work and he's been amazing. But to be that person, to be Dre, and then say to Kendrick Lamar, "Oh yeah, you're kind of better than me, and you are the better rapper."
Can't
Consider
say
that he's done
Dr.
that.
Dre
but
would
it's
never
not-
say
Well, he
that.
did. It was on stage 2011. That's happened. It
All right,
happened.
Dre's the best.
No one ever said that they were better than Sugar Hill Gang. Though, did
Okay,
they?
lady.
No, they didn't.
They were dead by the time.
They're still alive. Well, two of them are still alive, or one of them, yeah.
But not their music.
I know one
Their
of them
music.
died, yeah.
Right, that's
Steady
time.
originals.
That was actually a really good debate there. Interesting, no one mentioned, or I think we might get a few comments about this, no one mentioned the Notorious B.I.G. or even Jay-Z, who is the only other rapper to actually be in the best-selling things of all time. The only other person in this list was Eminem, who was on that. But you didn't tell me that, which is kind of, it's going against you.
I was going to say Kanye West, but I felt like...
You should have. You
Well,
should have.
even Kanye West
because
has
at the
stated
end of
himself
the
the
day,
greatest rock
Sugar
star.
Hill Gang.
That's true.
I mean, you tried to make out they're the fathers of all these, but
Well,
lots
they
of-
had the first ever like mainstream hit, which I think
But at the
without
end of the
them, Eminem, your Dr. Dre's and your Kendrick Lamar's, mate, they wouldn't be in the charts. They'd still be sitting off in Boston or wherever they
I
come
thi-
from with their little 4-track recorder. Do you know what I mean, mate? So
It's a nice point, but I just don't think it's strong enough.
Can I get a last?
No, you
last
can't.
line now?
no,
I'm telling you.
Sexist.
Pocket in.
I'm telling you how it goes. At the end of the day, yes, you told me brilliantly why Dre
wanna
is
buy.
one of the most influential artists, but you didn't tell me why he was the best. You told me why he was loaded. And if this was a competition of who was the best talent recognizer in music, then by God you'd win. But that's not the question, so you're out. Which means I'm down to these two.
Ooh.
And I have to look at what you told me, and you gave me some brilliant points, Tom, and you didn't give me, Lauren, some of the best facts. I mean, he's won 16 Grammys. He's won 4 Brits. He's the highest. He was the best-selling artist of the noughties. So you've really put me in a tough position here because I genuinely can't decide between either of you. But what's clinched it for me is that, like she said, he's been around for so long. Kendrick Lamar's brand new. So for that, it goes to Lauren.
brand new, bro.
So we have a tie, which means we go to our tiebreaker question. On this one, it's just between you two, because you both have 2 points.
Wow.
Obviously, we had the very sad news recently about David Bowie passing away. And believe it or not, he actually went to the university at which we're filming. So it's big influence, not just on us, but on just the music industry in general. So as a tribute to him, our tiebreaker question, what is the greatest David Bowie song? Lauren, as you won the most recent point, you get to choose first.
Thank you. I testify that Space Oddity was definitely his most popular, most famous, best track that he ever had.
Okay, I'll give you a moment to prepare yourself. Bill?
I think Heroes was David Bowie's best track. And I think that... Can I continue?
Absolutely.
May I
Yes.
continue, or would you like to?
No, just
Go
let's,
ahead.
you two, it's
Okay.
free for all now.
I think Heroes is the best David Bowie track because there was a time when he performed it live, at Live Aid, I believe. I hope I'm right. I think I am. And it was considered his best performance live. And that song Heroes was, I think, was written as you were saying earlier on, my friend, as like a, kind of like an anti-establishment kind
Protest song.
Yeah, not protest song, but it was more about, we could be heroes just for one day. see what I'm saying? That line right there really clinches it. It's kind of about charity, you know? And so therefore I think Heroes is David Bowie's best track. I think, for me anyway, it's the most influential track. It's the track I listen to the most. It's the track that I take influence from as a musician. And therefore, best track.
Okay. Well, I disagree. I think that Space Oddity was his most well-known track. I think if a lot of people think of David Bowie, they think of that track, you know. It was around the sort of time where space travel was sort of coming about, and it was sort of more important at the time, and he just released it in a way that it was brand new to what people had been listening to. It wasn't really the same sort of music that was around at the time, and because of who he was, I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it was number 1 when it came out.
I can get my else to check that immediately.
Fabulous. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. But I just think it was his most known, and it was just probably the best one in terms of just musicality.
In terms
really.
of music he did, though, that's, you know...
It was number 1, just for the record, just been told.
Okay. In terms of music that he did that's, you know, pushing boundaries, though, the guy did, you know, several of his early albums are all pushing boundaries. Just plucking one song that you know off of one album and going, I think that was, you know, pushing boundaries. You know, kind of, you know, have you listened to his Berlin period?
I have.
Oh, all right, well, been shot down there then, haven't I? But again, it's like, you know, if you want to talk about where he's been, you know, pushing boundaries, you would talk about his Berlin period, right? I feel like Space Oddity probably not the best track.
I mean, I
to
was just
push.
making a small point. I wasn't really saying that was the main reason why I chose it.
Oh well, fair enough.
But
This guy will
point.
decide, won't he?
Good
Will
point.
decide.
No, I mean, I just think, you know, if you ask anybody where they were or what first song they heard from David Bowie, I believe a lot of people would say Space
Well,
Oddity.
I disagree. I think
it was
if-
even referenced in a TV show in Friends. You
I would.
yeah.
It's
I
in
would
Friends, that's a big
yeah.
one.
Oh, that's a big one. I would say actually, probably, if people are gonna, you know, if you're gonna talk about the song that people know, you know, the most, surely Labyrinth, the tracks from Labyrinth, would be the songs that everyone knows from their childhood. They're
That
the
is
songs I
true.
listened to growing up. Wouldn't be Space Oddity.
But the question is, we're asking for the singular best song.
No, but I'm just arguing that, like, if she's basing her argument off of Space Oddity's the song everyone would know, not really. Probably a song from Labyrinth would be a song everyone would know.
Okay,
Therefore, not
fair
Space
enough.
Oddity.
But
Just parring you out once more.
Yeah,
So,
but
right,
number
don't
1.
feel the burn.
Number 1.
Yeah, I know, but like
Number
number
one.
one, as
To-
we've already proved today, number 1 doesn't necessarily prove best, does it?
Heroes went in at number
I
3, for the record, as she is bringing that up.
That's fair
Heroes
enough,
came
you
in at
know.
number 3.
Heroes can go in at number 3, can't it? It can go in at whatever number it likes. It's still a better song than Space Oddity.
Okay.
Your opinion.
I
Fact.
think I have enough to make my decision. Now, this is a really tough one because obviously you had 2 absolutely incredible songs. I think we can all agree he was an absolute genius of a man, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You could have picked so many. You could have Life on Mars and many, many more. But I think that just to put in some more context for you, just in case you haven't had, you again made a very good point about how it was very new. It was kind of a story. It was different to what people had before, and he was only 22 when he released that. Heroes obviously has become a much more pop culture song,
Culturally
especially with
significant
X
song.
Factor and that,
Definitely.
re-releasing it. So, but equally, like you said, it is one that quite a lot of people know him for. So, I've made my decision. The winner is Space Odyssey.
Damn.
Yeah.
Only,
Fair enough.
only because
Take that.
you won it with, you said yourself it was revolutionary, it hadn't been seen before, that style of song. And I hate to say it, but after all this, you were telling me throughout the day about strong songs that don't fit the norm. At the end of the day, Heroes is a bit of a pop song, isn't it?
I wanted to go with I wanted to do what everyone else has done this whole competition and go with the most, famous. Yeah, okay.
So,
Fair enough. You win.
Lauren,
Respect.
congratulations. You have our
Thank
highly
you very
prestigious
much.
trophy
Oh my goodness.
for this
Which wins the whole
episode.
thing,
Isn't it
doesn't
beautiful?
And
It's beautiful.
we will see you back for the final in 4 episodes' time.
Oh, it's exciting.
Indeed.
Love it.
So once again, thank you to all our guests. Please join us next time where we'll be debating television.